Hey guys, Wolvie here with a special presentation for the City of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia Global for the 27th of April 2020 if you're in or near the United States. This will be the 28th of April 2020 everywhere else. It is about 10:29 in the evening in the Central Daylight Time Zone, which is where I am based out of. This is going to be going over the May calendar preview. And by that, I have quite a few opinions on this. So, with this being an opinionated-based video, the opinions in this video are my opinion and mine alone. And I do want to bring up a few things here and there. Yes, I did catch the stream. However, I have a bit of a backstory as to why I did not make any comments on it. So, the backstory is as thus. So, in recent times, I actually invested in a tablet. Nothing too expensive because I don't make a whole lot of money. So, I do have a tablet in my possession. That way I can get my feet in the water in that regard. So, I do have Twitch not only on my cell phone, but also on my tablet. I do want to warn everybody that while I have a Twitch, I do not stream, and unfortunately that's because of the nature of what I do for a living. For UPS, I am in management, so it's one of those instances where I simply cannot stay home and stream. And with UPS being part of the critical infrastructure industry by the United States Department of Homeland Security, I simply cannot leave my house. I do have to get out of the house to go to work. So, the whole thing with that is that, with the tablet, I was part of another stream, more specifically, Stipe Miocic, who is the current heavyweight champion in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. I have had the pleasure of meeting him face to face. He is one swell of a person. Incredibly nice, really laid back. Some of the stuff he does outside UFC involves being that of what he does outside the UFC is fighter. He's a fighter. He is a essential worker like myself. So I give mad props to my fellow essential workers. We must stand united so that we can crush the pandemic with authority. So, because I was on Stipe Miocic's stream, he was playing, I think it was like a Call of Duty entry, I don't know for sure. But because of that, I was on the stream for DFFOO Global. I could not get myself in the chat, which it is what it is. But I do have info from the stream, and I will provide that once I get onto the home screen. So therefore, I will be right back. I am back as promised. We're going to go over maintenance information first and foremost. So we do have maintenance coming up in a matter of hours. So for those of you in the UTC time zone, which is near the United Kingdom, this will be from 8 to 11 a.m. UTC. For those of you in the Central Daylight Time Zone like I am, this will be from 3 to 6 a.m. So we do have more information on maintenance. So we're going to go over a little bit of the early distribution of iOS app update. So we do have all the new information will be in yellow. So pause the video, take a screenshot. It's pretty much the same thing for any updates to the game for iOS device users. That's iPhone or iPad. So we do have a couple of items here to go over, but before we get into those two items you saw on the screen, we're going to go over some quality of life changes that will go into effect after maintenance is up. Now, I do want to give a fair warning of sorts to those on iOS, so there could be a delay because we all know the Apple Store tends to not really want to release the updates in a timely manner, so you all are forewarned. So one of the quality of life updates is going to be in the Memorial Theater, where the cutscenes will be in chronological order. And this is really refreshing because I don't really use it, but something, if I do want to just check it out, just for the sake of checking it out, it's all gravy. Now, another quality of life upgrade, I'm going to go into Cloud because he was part of this particular slide, and that way this can be somewhat explained a little bit better this way. So we do have this thing called weapon skins. This will debut after maintenance. And for example here, like I said, I'm bringing in Cloud because again, he was in the slide. So I can make the Force Stealer Plus here on my screen. I can give it the weapon skin of the Buster Sword or his World of Illusions weapon. For example, so we're going to be getting weapon skins for the weapons, and basically what this is, it's kind of like your alternate costumes, but it's for your weapon. So with that bit out of the way, now we're going to jump into a couple of pieces of information that's inside the in-game news. And the thing is with me, I refer to the in-game news time and time again because it is the most reliable source of information for the game as opposed to hearing it from somebody else. Unless that somebody else is tied to the game. So, we're going to go into the May Faire campaign. Again, this is preview information, so bear with me here. So, from the 29th of April, 2 a.m. UTC, this is until the 13th of May, 2020, will be the May Faire campaign. There is Gigantoire in This May Be Gigantic, and this one where you can exchange event tokens for limited time rewards. So what this campaign will have varying sales like gem sales, and realization materials sales, triple effect items, that sort of thing. So that's that. It says here daily free first multi-draws, chocobo panel missions, daily login bonuses, double cycle quest rewards, double artifact token rewards, another Torsia added to the World of Illusions, Carbuncle's treasures, alongside, if I know my notes right. See, let me do a quick pause because I want to make sure I have my notes right. Okay, so now I know. So with the tokens from this particular co-op that this is tied to, you're not going to be able to get everything, but if I were to guesstimate like what could be there, I would say prioritize the stuff that's the hardest to get in the game, meaning the realization materials. So that's it, and then the free multis, I'll get into that bit a little bit later. I do have it in my notes that the free multi-pulls is going to be a free multi once every 3 days. It's going to be different banners, so yeah. So that's that on that. And let's see here. Like I said, there is daily login. Yeah, so I did mention a bunch of stuff there. So this is not the only event that's going on within this very time frame. And so again, it's the same exact time frame. So I'm going to use the Central Daylight Time Zone timestamps, which is 8 p.m. tomorrow night until the 12th of May 2020 will be the 10th and final wave of 77 Awakenings. The reason why I'm using my local time zone here is because it's the same exact thing for the UTC, since if you were to translate the Central Daylight Time to UTC. So it is the same exact dates. For those in the UTC, it's the 29th of April through the 13th of May. For those in the Central Daylight Time Zone like I am, it's the 28th of April through the 12th of May. So, with the 10th and final wave of 77 Awakenings, we have Cyan from Final Fantasy VI, Walker from Final Fantasy X, Lightning from the Final Fantasy XIII trilogy, Shadow from Final Fantasy VI, and Hope from the Final Fantasy XIII trilogy. This is a hyped up wave for more than one reason. And the reason being the final 3 characters listed. Now, why is that? To be more specific, with Hope and Shadow, not only is there EX weapons making their debut during this time, but they also get the realization. They both also get a rework each. Now, I'm not going to go into the rework information because the Broadway Saint already has a video on that. And if anybody wants rework information, he's the one I would prefer people go to. And like I said, I'm not going to be able to make as much content due to a change in my work schedule. So the point is moot for me. I might cover it another day. We'll see. So, again, Shadow and Hope, rework EX weapon debut, and the EX weapon does get realized. Lightning's EX weapon gets the long-awaited realization, and the return of her 13-2 costume comes along. Now, with this particular wave, it is a Heretic set of missions, so that's that on that. And here's the thing. I am going to be going for Hope's EX weapon, but not right away. Again, like I said, I do have a pretty chaotic work schedule as of late. I probably won't be able to get to it for at least a few days. But you can rest assured I will be going after it, just not right away. Again, so you have here the particular Heretic quest, Blockade of the Ancient Mechs. So you have here, looks like a Lamia Queen, Heritage Golem, and a Helldiver. These are all Heretic stuff. This is the varying goodies. So that's down on that. So when it comes to events where there are banners involved and characters, there is going to be that Radiant Artifact token mission of sorts where it's 200 characters per artifact token you get for 200 gems per artifact token obtained. So in this case, for this wave, it's going to be 1,000 gems. And this is one of those I knock out almost immediately, because it's the easiest thing for me to forget. Now, when it comes to rewards, stuff like that, before I forget, and mind you, this part's going to be from the stream only. Only the stream rewards. So you have here 3,000 gems, 10 armor tokens, 20 draw tickets, and a power stone. So that's just the stream rewards. Now, we're going to get into another part that's around the same time, and it's involving one of the very first things we've seen. Now, from the 29th of April through the 6th of May, this might be UTC and Central Daylight, so be on the lookout. Global as well as JP have reached the 8 million download mark for the game. Now, this does mean a one-time login reward of 8,000 gems, and then for 7 days, there are going to be additional daily missions added to where you get 8 draw tickets per day for a grand total of 56. So, my only advice in this regard is to log in every day, get the rewards. Now, I do have some notes from close to the very beginning of the stream. I'm going to get to that in the very end of it. So, now we have the May Faire campaign, the final wave of 70 Awakenings happening, and the 8 million downloads celebration, what's coming up for Global. So, with that all out of the way, we got here on the 4th of May will be the Lost Chapter for Porum Final Fantasy IV. She will get her EX weapon realized. Now, she doesn't get a rework, but you never know. She may get one in the future. Now, with that being said, Yang from Final Fantasy IV will be getting a rework, and he will debut with his EX. Now, I do have an opinion on this. It's going to be tied into certain other aspects of it, but the short version of this is that this is one banner where people are kind of on the fence with this particular banner due to the timing of Yang's EX weapon, which does get the realization right off the gate. Because some people refer to Yang and Porum's LC banner as a must-pull for both characters. Now, there are others who feel that the timing is too late. And there are other characters coming along, so that's the short end of it. I'm going to go into this a little bit more detail later on, so stay tuned. Now, with that out of the way, with the Lost Chapter, is from the 8th through the 22nd of May, and some of the dates I'm going to provide are UTC unless I state otherwise. It's going to be the global debut of Caius from Final Fantasy 13-2. Now, this will have a return of something. I'm going to pull him up really quickly, because that way you guys get to see what's exactly going on here. If I could grab him real quick. Good, no, I passed him out. Wow. Holy cow. Where is he? So for Noel for Final Fantasy 13 2, and this is during Caius' event, Noel actually gets his EX weapon realized, as well as the return of the following costume you see on the screen. He does not get a rework. I'm going to have to play a wait and see to see if he's going to need one. But again, that's just my opinion. So, rounding out the event synergy for Caius' global debut is going to be Lise from Final Fantasy 14, and Horn tags along as Lost Chapter synergy. Now, for this particular event, I'm definitely going to be bringing in Lise for the co-op because I have her. Let me grab my Lise on the screen real quick. That's my Lise right there. 6 out of 6 for the summoning boards at the time of the film. At the time of this recording, I have her completely purple. And I do have some decent passives on her, but I could always go better. But I do have decent passives for her. She's 6 out of 6. Like I said, she's completely purple. And I do have her D-sphere on her. Because I'm in love with that sphere. Let's just put it like that. I will be bringing Lise in the meantime. So, with the banner itself, again, this kind of goes into the whole thing with Young and Poor. Now, with that bit out of the way, also coming on the 8th of May, and this is permanent, it is the 10th tier of Dimensions and Entropy. Now, of course, with the newer tiers, as they come along, the play requirements will be adjusted accordingly, so you have to perfect all 10 tiers in order to retain the Platinum plate. Now, with that bit out of the way, you have here on the 13th of May, and this does have a limited time aspect in the form of a level 70 and a level 100 difficulty co-op. It is the global debut of Ultimate Diabolos. It has the following 6 characters as special synergy. Walker from Final Fantasy X, he gets a rework in his EX weapon debuts with the realization attached to it. Aerith from Final Fantasy VII, her EX weapon does get the realization. Kuja from Final Fantasy IX, Sabin from Final Fantasy VI, Vaughn from Final Fantasy XII, and Deuce from Final Fantasy Type 0. Now with Deuce, she's going to be the one I'm going to have, as like the constant support, because between the 6 of them, she's the only one I have at full summon board and sent up 6 out of 6. Completely mastered. And this is despite the fact I have the EX weapons for Kuja, Sabin, and Deuce. Deuce is my best one of the 3, so there you have it. Now, like I said, there is a limited time for aspect to the Ultimate Diabolos Esper trial in the form of the co-op, so that's on that. So on the 18th of May is going to be the Lost Chapter for Sync from Final Fantasy Type 0. This will have the second costume for Snow, which is from Lightning Returns, and you can bet your ass I will be going after it, because that's like my favorite costume on a Snow, so that's that on that. So Snow gets his second costume. He also gets a rework, and there is the debut of his EX weapon. I mean, I'm not so sure if I'm going to go after that banner, because I have to get Galuf or whatever. I mean, it's going to be a wait and see for Snow. Now, with that bit out of the way, from the 22nd of May through the 5th of June is going to be the global debut of Jack from Final Fantasy Type 0. This will have the EX realization for Ramza, as well as Jack, Ramza, and Ignis as overall synergy, with Sync as Lost Chapter synergy. Like the Caius event, I will be bringing in Ignis as for the co-op, because like Lise, Ignis is 6 out of 6 for the summoning boards at the time of this recording, completely purple. And Ignis, I have absolutely 0 regrets going after his gear. 0 regrets. And I do have Ramza's EX weapon, so the point becomes completely moot for me to go after Jack's kit. So, with that all out of the way, what are my thoughts here? So, like I said, I have researched some elements from the stream to this point. Now, I want to bring up a couple of points very early on in the stream. One, it's around the 5-minute 17 mark of the stream, and another bit is the 6-minute 20-second mark. So it's a little over a minute apart, and I'm like, I know they're both really, really floored me, and you'll get to hear why. Now, regarding the 5-minute 17 mark, Josh mentioned something along the lines, people staying home and playing more Diabolos. Something along those lines. I was shocked, but not in a good way when I heard it. And the reason why is, like I said, I'm an essential worker. And as I said earlier in this video, I simply cannot stay home. I mean, it would be nice if that were the case, but not in mine. So, for that type of comment to come out, I do feel that was very insensitive. Because that's wrongly assuming that everybody's in the same situation, when in reality, it's not. And sometimes the saying goes, think of what you're going to say before you say it, because you're going to have to be prepared for the consequences afterwards. So that's just the Cliff Notes version of that particular remark. Now, Glacy mentions at around 6 minutes 20 seconds into the stream, something along the lines, the one time we should be delayed. Now, I could not catch the tone clearly because the stream, I will mention here that the stream was done remotely, meaning that they had to record this from their households, which was necessary due to lockdown regulations from the state of California. Now, the statement that Glacy made about Abraham needing to be delayed, at face value, I fully agree, because the health and well-being of us human beings, that is far more important than content. Because you can have all the money in the world, but will you have the staff to sustain it? Something to keep in mind. Now, like I said, face value, I fully agree. Tone, I could not pick up because, again, it was done remotely, so it's about taking this, in this case, at face value. Now, another thing I want to point out is that some people mentioned on Twitter that it's jam-packed. This is where I disagree. It sounds like a bit more of a quiet month, because there's not a whole lot going on. You have, granted, you have the final wave of the 70 Awakenings. You have 2 Lost Chapters, 2 character events, as well as an Esper trial and a new tier for the Dimensions and Entropy, but nothing else. And like I said, the reason why I feel this is quiet is because some of this stuff, depending on how people play the game, can be done in a matter of a couple of days. So one cannot help but wonder, is it really jam-packed? Or is it really a quiet month? And for me, my answer is simple. It's a little bit more of a quiet month than a jam-packed. But not by much. Now, the free multis, I'm going to go back into the May Faire campaign. Now, some people may have mentioned the whole thing with the multi-draws, and there being 12 altogether. Now, some may have been referring to the Japanese public holidays. Some people saying there's 10. I did a little research on that. There's at least 16 public holidays Japan has. Not every country has a proper monarchy like emperor, empress, king, queen, that sort of thing. Not every country has that. So it is, in my opinion, it is wrong to say that this is the Golden Week. It's not. And that's for the simple reason that some of the Japanese public holidays are not even the same ones all from the rest of the world. Now, I do want to address something I noticed on Twitter and or Facebook, and that's the community being like one of the best. And this is where I sorely and respectfully disagree. Now, the reason why I really disagree with that sentiment is that there are individuals, I mean myself being one of them, that tend to get ridiculed for either skipping a meta character for whatever reason, or going after a character that we like. And I remember some instances on Facebook, and to remind everybody, the Facebook page I have is under a pseudonym, and I will not be accepting any friend requests on Facebook. So that little disclaimer right there before I forget. So when it comes to Facebook, I've actually got ridiculed a couple of times about pulling on characters I want to go after for whatever reason. I was even told by a couple of people to go after a meta character, and this particular instance was Quile. I was completely planning on skipping her because Ultimecia at the time was a short time away. And for me, if I pull on a meta character, it's because they're a favorite of mine. It's somebody I like. And Ultimecia is somebody I like. So that's that on that. So, like, you can do it with tickets online. People, the reason why I kind of bring this up now is because people assume things and they don't ask. If you don't ask, you just made an ass out of yourself. As well as me. So, I do wish the community would start asking questions like, do you have enough? Or, like, can you specify the problem? That sort of thing. There's too much assumption going on and not enough asking. And the comment I noticed from the February stream that previewed March calendar is kind of hitting home for me right now. And that's because, and this is simply, I want to make this as simply put as possible, is that there is some people in this community that's making it toxic. As much as I don't want to say it, I have to say it now. And that type of statement I saw on Twitch then, I agree with it to this day. There is some toxicity in this community, and that needs to change. I think we need to make each other accountable for what we say and what we recommend to others. Let people play the City of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia as intended, to have fun, not just go after certain characters. So with that bit out of the way, I do want to bring up another opinion. It's something I caught a glimpse of on Facebook and again on Twitter, and that's the Android operating server 10, also known as Q. So it looks like there appears to be issues on the Android side of things that who knows how long it's going to take for the game to finally address it. Now this goes along with the iOS aspect where, I'm going to bring this up one more time, where there could be a delay on iOS due to the whole thing from Apple. So I think here, and I'm going to take a quick pause, scratch it. I'm going to take a quick pause, so that way I can get some water and get my thoughts together for this part. So I'll be right back. Okay, as I was saying, the whole thing with Android operating server 10, now the whole thing with iOS, a potential delay because the Apple Store not really wanting to allow things to update in a timely manner. Having content might not be giving Square Enix a good look. And the reason why I kind of feel this way, and I still feel that content shouldn't have been delayed, is that things like this, the technical side of things, where working remotely might not be the world's best solution. And delaying, like I said, I would have preferred that because that way the time would have been spent on fixing the issues. That way, once the time comes that we can release the content, everything is as smooth as possible with as few issues as possible. Now, so to do a final overall thoughts on all this, so the community, we gotta start stepping up. Because, granted, it's not a bad community, but we could do better. We could be better. And by that, just try not to ridicule people when they're either skipping a quote-unquote must-have. And for the record, there is no such thing as a character that's a true must-have. There's no such thing. And to reiterate, the reason for that is simply because whoever's considered current meta will eventually be replaced by someone who can do their job better. And the ridiculing for those who, like, again, skip certain banners or pulling on banners that's not desirable, that ridiculing has got to stop. I've seen it a decent amount of times on Facebook. Maybe not so much on Twitter, but I know it happens on Facebook, so it's one of those, it's like, we gotta be better, people. Now, regarding the free multi-pulls, to recap on this quickly, I do not think this has anything to do with the Golden Week on JP. Yes, we have a bunch of free pulls coming, but let's be honest here. And I'd rather be honest here when I say this. The thing is with Japan, they have at least 16 different public holidays that the global does not recognize, outside of maybe New Year's Day, because the thing is with Japan, they have like royalty as their thing, you know, with emperor, empress, that sort of thing. Not every country has that. Now, the whole thing with the 8 million download celebration, I'm surprised that it took this long for JP and Global to get to that number. Now, as someone who used to play Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, this is the information I can clearly tell you from, and this is from memory. So it's around their second anniversary on FFPE Global, they've already surpassed 30 million downloads. Now, as of the time of this recording, FFPE, even after the clusterfuck, that's the third anniversary, they've actually obtained 40 million downloads. Now, this is a pretty tall order for DFFOO, and both versions. We simply lack the numbers like FFPE does. Now, granted, this is a very free-to-play game, instead of free-to-play friendly, but it really depends on the individual player and how much they've cleared up to this point. So, to be honest here, is that we've still got work to do as a community, both global and JP. Now, I should actually get bit. Now, the one thing I'm looking forward to the absolute most is my homegirl Lightning getting her EX realization. She is an automatic 3 out of 3. And I will get her to Crystal Strength 70 as soon as possible. I think I have enough crystals to pull it off. And a bit of a spoiler for Global, Lightning will be one of the very first to get an 80/80 awakening, because that is the point in the game where Lightning's burst and LD weapon comes along. It's with her 80/80 awakening. Now, I do want to point out something for burst stuff here and there real quickly, is that when whoever gets their burst, their synergy for other banners, not just the one where their LD and burst comes along. Now, let me take a pause here real quick. Sorry there, folks. I actually had a bit of a coughing fit, so I'm going to try my best to wrap this up. So, when it comes down to the whole thing with Snow and Caius, I do think that it's going to be Snow that gets a burst at LD. And the reason why I feel it's going to be Snow is for a few things. Unlike Snow, Caius only shows up in 13-2 and Lightning returns. Granted, he is a rival for Lightning, but not the main one in my eyes. And the reason why I feel Snow is the main rival for Lightning, in my opinion, is, believe it or not, Sarah. Well, granted, Snow and Lightning fought side by side in 13. The next time they really see each other is in Lightning Returns, and they fight against each other. and well, here's the thing with 13-2, Snow actually tries to go after Lightning. However, the circumstances really didn't pan out in his favor, that sort of thing. And the final reasoning here is that with Snow, he is on the NT roster, Caius is not. And Snow is part of the main series. Caius is a sequel person. So the only way for someone like Caius, a sequel person, to get his burst at LD is for the game to have the LD and burst available for those from sequels. And by those from sequels, the main characters. Main characters from the sequels, prequels, and spin-offs. That has got to happen. If Caius is to get his LD and burst. Otherwise, it's more than likely going to be Snow. Now, let me try to say this without trying to cough again. So for a final conclusion here, and this is for the stream on a whole, I think both the community and as well as Josh and Gracie, they need to not assume so much. Because making a comment that assumes that everybody's at home is actually the wrong assumption to make. And to repeat, I am an essential worker. I work for UPS. I also happen to be in management. So I'm in one of those situations where I simply cannot stay home. But you know what? I don't control what other people say. I can only control what I say. And for the whole thing with the characters who to pull on, it's just that, honestly, we should just pull for who we want. If it's meta, it's all gravy. It's all good. What matters the most is that we have fun. And now this is where I get to sign off for the night. It's about 11:09 at night. And I have a couple of things to go over before I go to bed. So with Wolvie here signing off, I will catch you all on the flip side.